Guitarists, I'm going to say what we've all been thinking, right? The C.A.G.E.D system sucks. It doesn't make sense. It's confusing, right? By the end of this video, I'm going to show you a far simpler method to visualize triads on the guitar. We're going to be ditching the C.A.G.E.D method. It doesn't make sense. We're going to be finding a method where we can use triads and inversions in a way to simplify the C.A.G.E.D system. I help intermediates become advanced. I used to be an intermediate too. This is how I used to sound as an intermediate. I knew nothing about triads, didn't even know anything about the C.A.G.E.D system. It would have confused me too much if I tried to learn the C.A.G.E.D system back then. And I wasn't really proud of my playing. However, with enough practice and enough dedication, I managed to advance my playing and figure out how to improve my technique. You can hear me soloing here, improvising over chord changes with my own unique style. And I'll be honest, I'm quite proud of that playing. I'm proud of the accomplishments that I've achieved on the guitar. So just want to give you some hope and inspiration. You can do the same thing. I've been in your shoes. I know how you can get out of them. And you can progress on the guitar. Don't worry. Stay at it. Stay dedicated. Alright? This has been how I got good at guitar. My name is Fabian Dolan. I've had 10 years of experience on this instrument, over 10,000 hours played, and many students taught. Hopefully one more today. I appreciate you watching. If you want to join a community of like-minded guitarists and tune in for some free live lessons that I do occasionally over there, check out the Discord. There's a link below in the description. I think you're going to enjoy the community. And also feel free to message me on Instagram for any questions. So the C.A.G.E.D shape is confusing because it relies on the names of the open chords, right? So we've got like the E shape, the A shape, the D shape, the G shape, right? The reason it's confusing is because we attach the note names of the open chord shapes to the new shapes that we're using up on the fretboard across the guitar. So like it's confusing because we're told to play the C shape over an F sharp chord, but we're not playing C, but we're doing a C shape. So this is really confusing to understand musically. It just doesn't really make sense. Like visually it makes sense on the fretboard, but in kind of like grammatically within music, the way like notes are named and stuff like that, it doesn't make sense. It's confusing. It's not really a good system to be using. And plus there are 5 shapes, C.A.G.E.D. There's a lot of shapes to learn, right? Which we can simplify this. There is a simpler way to do it, which I don't see people talking about. So today I'm going to be showing you a triad system that I've put together, which connects triads and inversions across string sets. And there are only 3 shapes that we need to learn. It's a lot more simpler than the C.A.G.E.D method. So let's crack into it. Make sure you get your guitar in your hands. We've got something to learn today. We're going to become more advanced players by the end of this video. So grab your guitar and let's get practicing. So today I'm going to be showing you how to play. So today I'm going to be showing you how to play 3 major shapes and the 3 minor shapes of the system that I've created, and a little etude afterwards in order to practice it and kind of get some cool creative ideas out of our playing. So again, there's only 3 shapes for both major and minor, so 3 major shapes and 3 minor shapes. It's a lot simpler than the C.A.G.E.D method, right? So let's look into what we're doing here today. So we're going to do this over G major and G minor just to start. So we have the 3 shapes here. You can see there are some red rings that I've put around the notes. These are the root notes of the chord that we're going to be playing. So we're playing G major. Fret 5 on the D string is the G note, and fret 3 on the high E string is also the G note. Again, same applies A string, 10th fret, G. You get the idea, right? The red circles are the root notes of the chord. So if you want to be able to transpose this to any chord, just take the same shape, make sure your root note are in these positions, and you'll be able to play a new chord. So let's go over the first shape of G major. So we start on the 7th fret of the low E string. Then we play the 5th fret of the A string. Then the 5th fret of the D string. 4th fret of the G string. 3rd fret of the B. And 3rd fret of E. So all together we have that G major triad that we've got going on there. So that is the first shape. Practice that a bit. Pause it if you have to. It's going to take some time to get used to if this is your very first time doing it. Don't worry, this is a skill that you have to develop over time. When you're ready, move on to this next shape here. So this is the second shape of G major. We start on the 10th fret, which is all the way up here. So we go 10 on the E string, 10 on the A string, 9 on the D string, 7 on the B string, 7 on the G string, my bad, sorry, 8 on the B string, and 7 on the E. So all together we have so that will be our second shape of G major, and then we have to move up a bit on the fretboard here for the, oh my bad, just fucked up the camera. Here we go. Yeah, so for the third and final shape of G major, we start on the 15th fret of the E string, 14 on the A, 12 on the D, 12 on the G, 12 on the B, and 10 on the E. So all of that together sounds like. So if I go through all of those shapes from top to bottom, and I'll turn my camera so you can kind of see a bit more here. So we have. And then the next shape. And then the final shape. Then we go all the way back down again. So those are the shapes for the major chords. Now, obviously we have minor chords as well, so we're going to need to learn some minor shapes. So let's look at same note again, G minor this time instead of G major. So the shapes are quite similar. There is only one note's difference between each shape, and that's the third, and we're going to change it to a minor third. So we start on the 6th fret of the E string this time, and we play 6, then 5 on the A, 5 on the D, 3 on the G, 3 on the B, and 3 on the E. So all together, that first minor shape sounds like this. Nice, hopefully you got that down. Again, pause the video anytime you need to practice these, alright? I don't expect you to be able to play along with me. It takes time to learn and practice this stuff. So, like, again, come back to the video later if you have to. So, we're going to move on to the second shape now. So, we go to the 10th fret of the E string. We go play the 10th fret of the A as well. Then we play the 8th fret of the D string. The 7th fret of the G string. The 8th fret of the B. And the 6th fret of the E. So, all together, we have. So that's the second shape there. Now moving on to the third and final shape of G minor. You start on the 15th fret. We play 13 on the A. We play 12 on the D, 12 on the G, 11 on the B, and 10 on the high E. So all together we have. Sorry, I messed that up. Let me play that again for you one more time. Clearly I haven't practiced enough. Alright, final time for you. I'll make sure I get it right this time. So yeah, that is the third and final shape of G minor. So again, screenshot these videos if you have to. These are really good practice materials to learn from and kind of implement into your playing. I believe this system is a lot more efficient than the C.A.G.E.D system. So again, if you want to learn your major and minor shapes, again, go back to the major section, screenshot the video, practice on them, work on transposing them. Again, we see the root notes here. So to transpose it, just move the root note to the chord that you want. So if I wanted to make this like A major, for example, I would move this from the 15th fret to the 17th fret, and just move everything 2 frets up, for example. But yeah, just follow the pattern of the hand shape with these kind of guidelines on the tab here. So we're going to learn a little etude to play alongside this, right? Because this etude is going to go over different chord changes. So instead of just playing in one chord over one key and doing one position, this kind of shows us where we can connect these shapes closer to each other. So this is the major etude that we're going to work on. So we're going to read it from left to right, okay? So we start 7 on the 7th fret of the E string, and we're going to play in kind of like 3-note groupings. So it's going to sound like this. Right, so that's the first phrase. I'll play that again for you. I'll make sure that you can kind of get a better angle. And then the next phrase we have, it's going to be a different chord. So start on the 8th fret. Right. And then the next phrase after that starts on the 5th fret. Then we play this arpeggio to finish it off. So if I play through the whole thing for you. So kind of just get yourself working on that. And again, this goes through like different chords and playing through chord changes. Each phrase goes over a different chord here. So it's figuring out how to use these shapes over different chords and incorporate them into chord changes, right? So this is the major version. So we have a 1, 4, 5 in major. That's the chord progression. And we're going to do it in minor as well. There is a minor version of this etude as well. So that sounds something like this. It's the same rhythm, same kind of idea going on. So we have... And then we have... And then finally it's... So yeah, this one's a bit different. It just keeps going up in the inversions rather than doing a 1, 4, 5 progression. But yeah, check this out. It's a very good way to kind of play this triad system by using these sort of triplet notes. It makes it a lot more interesting to play them in groupings of 3 rather than just linearly going through the shapes. So to recap, C.A.G.E.D system is confusing. I think it's a waste of time learning. You're better off learning this triad system and pairing it with the scale shapes that you already know. So putting this on top of the pentatonic scale or the major scale. So we want to learn triads and inversions and then how to connect them between string sets. So that's what we've been doing here. We've been playing an inversion and then playing the next 3 strings below that, and then the next 3 strings below that, and then the next 3 strings below that. So we're learning how to connect all these triads and inversions across string sets. So this is so much more efficient than learning the C.A.G.E.D system. Again, it's a lot easier because there's less shapes going on. And the naming for this system isn't confusing either, like the C.A.G.E.D system is, where it relies on the names of the open chords, despite those names not matching up with the actual chord that you're playing. So with this method, it's a lot simpler. We only need those 3 shapes. And if you still suck at guitar, even after this lesson, don't struggle alone. Book a call with me. Check the link in the description. I'm not going to stop teaching you until you become advanced. I'm creating advanced players, right? That's the goal of this channel. And again, respect for making it towards the end of this video. You're in the top 1% guitarists if you made it so far. Check around, there's another video over here that you can watch as well, and subscribe for more high quality guides. Thank you very much.